Hello everyone, and I hope to God that I can end this journey tonight, but we'll have to wait and see. If you didn't watch Journeys 1 and 2, this is a Compaq LTE 5000 with an active matrix display. Everything started off largely okay, and then we had some goofy issues with the processor CPU card, and if you can read real close, this particular one only detects 12 megs of RAM, no matter what kind of RAM you have in it. So that led me down a rabbit hole of, well, let's go find some boards, that one's defective, let's go find some boards, that one's defective too. And little did I know that one of them had an issue with display power. So that leads into journey number 2, because I originally thought that the panel had gone bad. That may or may not be true, but the replacement panel still, despite replacing that in the second variant of this video, I still had a white screen with the third, the CPU memory card. So that led me back to putting in the original CPU memory card, and we had a display. And that's where things basically left off. I also found that this particular, the status display had an issue with about 50% of the time the system wouldn't even boot up with it in. So I ordered another one of those along with the processor card, and we're going to see how this goes. So we are going to hopefully at last get this thing going pretty much all the way. So that brings us to our next question. Where in the wide world did we get a processor card for this system? Well, you may recognize that address. You may not. Well, I showed it real quick because I did not realize that I had my address on there, so that will be blocked out. So let's try this again in case you did not see it. If you recognize that particular address, that is Impact Computers, and I don't know what, if they have like a warehouse of old stuff, but 2 times out of 3 if you order from them, you'll get an immediate cancellation of notice. And then I noticed they had one of these processor cards in stock, $7.99. It was worth a try for me. So here we are several days later. We have processor card at our disposal, so we are going to go ahead and replace that, and we're going to hope for the best, along with that status display piece. So I got to go hunt those down, so as soon as we have those, we will continue on. I have since found both of the components. You know what, we're just going to take that processor card out of the box right now before I show my address even more. I do like to keep some resemblance of privacy. That box is out of the way, so. And I think Impact Computers has a couple of them left over if we so need another one for whatever reason. So we will take that out right now. Actually, we're going to take the processor card out. I got to figure out how to go about this here. So that keyboard and mouse have to still be detached. I think the processor card can stay put while or the pointing device, provided the cable is not too short, can stay behind. Yeah, it's going to be a close fit, but we'll make it work. We definitely got to get rid of the display cable. This is what started this whole fiasco in the first place. There we go. We'll remove the RAM. We'll try to remove the RAM without breaking anything. Boom. RAM is out. We'll remove the old display that only turns the machine on about 50% of the time. So before I go do anything else, probably advisable to mark our replacements with something unique to identify them. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And that's going to simply be done in this way. So I just marked a black little dot on the right side of this status display. And I'm probably not calling it 100% the correct thing, but it is what it is. And the processor card, I'm going to do the same. And this looks like a sealed bag, so we will cut that open. Now some of you 5000 gurus are going to ask me, why you just put in a 90 megahertz card or 120 megahertz card, right? Why just do that? And your answer is, you are absolutely right. That is possible. But I want to keep this to original spec as much as possible. That is the single reason why we're going to try to go the 75 megahertz variant. The one and only reason for that matter. So let's find a place to mark this puppy. I am just going to put a black dot on the right side here. There you go. So it is marked, harmlessly marked. So let's continue on. Now, I think everything is off the processor card. We do have speakers. Probably not a bad idea to disconnect the display, just because that does have a tendency to get in the way. Well, let's get this thing out. And we know what this one is. Come on. This removes some extra plastic goodies. But we know this is marked as 12 meg max. That is our original board. And the jumpers are a little bit different on this one, but I don't think that's going to cause any harm. So we'll give this a go. Let's see what we can do here and get everything lined up just punky-dory. And make sure everything is down and in. Good. I am not going to put RAM in it initially because I want to test to make sure that we have base functionality. All I'm doing is hooking up at this time the bare minimum. Come on. There's that. And if we don't want to knock the fan out, that would be a potential problem. Keyboard in. And I know it's going to be awkward for the viewers at home, but we'll just have to roll with it here. Ooh, this one's got a bent pin. Hopefully that doesn't come haunt us later. But we're going to take this very cautiously, as I think in the first video I might have pulled on this a little too recklessly and caused a potential short. We don't want to do that again. Okay, we are plugged in. We do have a power brick nearby. It is a generic one. It should be good enough for our all intents and purposes to start. Let's go. We got light. Status display looks mostly good. White screen. Well, this is interesting. This is rather interesting. And I'm just at a loss of words here, because this is you'd think this would be working, but it wants no part of this. I'm starting to wonder at this point if these motherboards that came out of possibly passive matrix displays don't work with the active displays. I don't know. I'm finding this, the more I go into this, the more unusual this gets, so I don't know. Maybe this motherboard is bad as well. But we do have one last trick we can try here. We'll set the jumpers identical to what the original board was. I doubt that's going to make a difference, but you know, we gotta try something at this point. Hey, we got somewhere. Hope it's not a fluke. No bootable device. But that's okay. If all that was a lousy jumper setting on this particular board, I'll be happy. I tried that on this other board too, and I did not yield any better results. Or I did it backwards. I'm not entirely sure. Let's go. May have possibly did this one backwards, but so maybe we didn't need the board after all. But you know what? Let's try to do a little bit more intrusive testing, if we will, for lack of a better term. And let's get our next step in. Cross our fingers that nothing stupid happens. Display is good, or status display. Hey, look at that! I like that number. I like that number a lot. I like that a lot, folks. So, my next steps here, I want to try and get this machine back together a little bit more. And then we'll need to do a memory test, the old Mem Test 86 on this, and make sure there's absolutely no problems with this memory module. I'm almost certain that it's fine, but I don't assume anything. And maybe shoving it in that goofy motherboard that has the wonderful 12 megabyte restriction, or the one that has a bad memory module, maybe between all that, it may have screwed something up with it. I sure hope it didn't, because otherwise it's going to be real fun to source one of those. Although, courtesy of my man Retro Tech Chris, I do have a second 64 meg module laying around in another machine. I can put it in here if I really want to satisfy the requirements of our journey to a Maxed Out 5000. But let me put this back together, and then we will continue on and go from there. All right, we're a tad bit closer to the finish line, so let us see what we can do now. So far, so good. Do have a few cables to move around and tuck around. I got a lot more screws to put in, obviously, but 75 megahertz, so far so good. And I will continue to put this thing back together. Once we have her back together, the MEM test will come after that, and I'll show you the end result. You don't have to sit through it, obviously, but I think we're getting closer to the goalpost here, or the finish line, if you will. Okay, MEM Test 86 disk is made, computer is largely put back together. So let us see what we can do here. Power button's a little stubborn, but that's alright. There. Now there's still some glare, but rest assure you it is not the display, which is near perfect. And we're off to the races. So once this concludes, we'll come back, but it looks like everything's in order so far, so we'll see what happens when we finish up. Okay, so it did say pass complete, no errors, so it looks like it's either running a second test or I don't entirely understand how MemTest 86 works, but it looks like we're doing what we're supposed to do here. So I am going to call this a victory. There we go. Now, the bad news is if you buy this panel from the company I bought it from, it's double in price now. So I don't know if I just snuck in some accidental deal or what the deal was with that, but needless to say, I'm thankful that I did. So, next steps. I got to get a hard drive. Preferably with Windows on it. So I'm going to go rob one out of a 5280. And do bear in mind that this is a test corp, so do what we need to do here. Uh-oh. That's my battery. And there are a couple different things going on here at the moment, so do bear that in mind. It's like, well, you got a soldering iron out. Well, we're repairing other things, so. All right, hard drive is in. And we gotta test every little thing. Now, come on. That might be more the battery than the computer. Now, there is one little elephant in the room, which I'm going to get to here in just a little bit. It's an elephant that absolutely doesn't matter outside of the i80386SS world. I'll get into that in a little bit, but in the meantime, we'll get this puppy booted. That display looks absolutely perfect. And my poor Windows 95 install on the other machine here is just getting absolutely hammered. Okay, so oh, this trackpad is almost like brand new. I didn't even realize that. And I thought for sure we'd get all colors here, but let's see what we can do. Folder options. No. I wonder if there's a. I thought there was in Windows 95 a way to tell it to use all possible colors. I know in Windows 98 there definitely was, but I'm not 100% sure if that is the case in Windows 95. But it is 16-bit color, and I have the brain of a goldfish, so I don't remember if it actually. Nope. No sound. Turn that all the way up. Detect the sound card without an issue. That's weird. May have to, maybe the speakers got disconnected or something happened with the speakers. That's doable if that broke. What in the wide world? Let's do that. No, speakers are good. Awesome. Okay, so that's more of the product of this Windows install than anything. We'll get this a brand new Windows install regardless, so I'm not worried about that. But on to the elephant into the room. That involves tearing apart the bottom half of the machine. I'm gonna go get some parts real quick, so do bear with me while I do just that. And I want to make sure that we're actually got the camera on what we're talking about. This little guy right here, like I said, it is an absolute non-issue or non-noticeable thing beyond the i80386SX world. But here, it's a huge point of emphasis. But lucky for me, I know a guy that can make these batteries for pennies on the dollar. I also know that guy who ships around the entire globe, except where it is prohibited by the United States Postal Service, so I will be more than happy to drop that link in the description, as always. But back to the video here at hand. We got ourselves our new CMOS battery. We have an actual main battery in here that does hold a charge, so I'm going to keep that in until this battery is all the way in. This one's being a little bit stubborn, but we'll get her. Come on. You know you want to. Yep, maybe. The pins are a little bit discombobulated on this one. Kind of interesting, but I know it's off camera, but that's not one that's really possible to show on camera regardless. So let me get that back in. We will return as soon as I have that CMOS battery in. All right, we're back. We got the bent pin scenario out of the way, and I'll tell that guy on the next batch of these use different labels, because those labels sure in the heck don't want to stick on there. This battery wants to stick up for some reason, but they'll get around that as always. We can tuck some of the wire out of the way, and nope. Come on. That's always got to be something. Here we go. The elephant in the room has been addressed. There we go. Brand spanking new CMOS battery. Let's start her up again. And if you saw that, I did turn the system on without applying AC power initially, and it did turn on. But I think at some point, this is my personal battery, so I will just go ahead and rebuild this one and go from there. rumor has it that the AC adapter I have connected to this does not power or actually charge the laptop battery. We will have to wait and see if that is really the case. But let's get in the right. Well, we're not in January anymore. Thank the Lord for that. Now, some of you probably like winter. I absolutely think it's a waste of a season. But that is just me. So, it is February 5th, 2022, 9:50 p.m. approximately. I think that's a 9. We're almost there. Don't worry. We're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah. Now we're cooking with fire. And okay, I made a terrible mistake by using that sound as every time it closes a program. So let's fix that. Very good. We are now cooking. I don't know if this note. Oh, yes, it does. I like this. We got sound mute. I don't know what that does, but I imagine that probably puts us on an external display if we so want to. But yeah, I think our little journey is just about complete here. Very happy day. So all that's left for me to do, I'm going to reload a fresh copy of Windows 95. I'm definitely going to go the CF, the Compaq Flash to IDE route, 4 gig of course, because, hey, this machine deserves it. We deserve the best. We've worked real hard to get this to where it's supposed to be. Alright, 72 megs of RAM, Windows 95C. So, yeah, I think that's all she wrote for the old little journey to the Maxed Out 5000. But before I do close this video, there is one other little elephant. And I don't know if you can see it, but this LTE 5000 logo here is yellowed. I'm going to flat out tell you, if anybody does ask about it, I don't care. I think I've tried my luck enough with this machine as it is. I'm thrilled to have a Maxed Out 5000. So I am going to leave it as is. The end game here was to have a Maxed Out 5000. Didn't have to be the prettiest one, it just had to be maxed out. So that is where I'm going to leave this at this time. So that being said, if you have any questions, comments, constructive commentary, you may feel free to put it in the comments section as you wish. But anyone that has watched this little crazy adventure without banging your head against the wall or going stir crazy, I appreciate you. So again, thank you for watching.